Hello everybody, welcome back to What Jen Ren Scraps. I'm Jen Ren. I am here today to start the Easter journal, and I think it should be a fairly quick journal because there's lots of wonderful cute little pieces that we can glue in, and we don't have to pre-make a lot of things, but it's still work to get through a journal. It just, perseverance step by step, right? This is a kit that I'm working with that is from Cara Creations, so this will be part one of this process of making this journal. This is my first time doing the process with you, making a journal, so hopefully it goes well. Usually I do a lot of this stuff live, and I know a lot of you enjoy that. We will still be doing the folio live with the Done by Dorothy kit with my friends. And this one I am planning to do videos for. It shouldn't take too many videos, I don't think, but I'm not sure how many. We'll just see how it goes. Typically, when I make a junk journal, I make the inserts first. That way I know how big of a spine I would like. This time I'm doing it a little backwards. For me, anyways. It's not backwards for everybody. A lot of people start with their cover and work from there. And today, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start from my cover. But if this is your first time trying to make a journal, I always suggest looking for somebody who has a one signature um, journal tutorial before you start something that has multiple signatures, because it's going to be a lot. So you're going to have to kind of know a little bit what you're doing, but you don't necessarily have to. And we'll just take it step by step. I'm going to cut out things that are maybe a little more boring, like the sewing parts and such and stuff like that. I have my sewing machine to the right of me. It is a little more difficult to get you on the sewing machine in frame. I can do it, but I just figured it might be easier just to show you what I've stitched, because this isn't a how to sew tutorial. This is just a basic journal. And it is going to have quite a few signatures in it, but it's going to be a little bit different. So we'll see how it goes. I'm not sure yet. I'm playing it by ear, and that's one of the things with junk journaling and with any art. You play things by ear, and that's part of the creative process. Is if something doesn't work for you, you switch it up, and if something doesn't work for you again, you switch it again, and until you have something that you like and that you love. So what I did so far was I have set aside, these are the pages I'm setting aside for like building ephemera and stuff. I also have pages set aside such as, where's my paper? I always lose my paper, don't I? Nope, that's not it. I have, oh, let's not let the phone get on my tea warmer. That would be bad. That would be a bad thing. So I have vellum sheets set aside, digital pages from the Cara Brandon Easter kits, and then I have a scrapbook paper set aside. I have a solid cardstock paper set aside. I have book pages set aside. Colorful hand-dyed papers, basically like smashing ink onto your glass surface and making a colorful splotchy piece of paper. That's kind of what I'm talking about. And then I have neutrals like hand-dyed coffee paper. I do have a Rit dye that is called Sandstone, which I recently showed in a live, I believe. my recent hand dyeing session results, and the sandstone looks really close to like a tea dye or even maybe a light coffee dye, depending on how long the solution, the paper sat in the solution. And so I pulled one of those for, I pulled one of these for each signature, basically. And then a specialty piece, like it could be a bag, it could be a piece of music paper, it could be a piece of vintage line paper, anything like that, a special piece of paper. And then I pulled one one ledger scrap per signature as well. So in total, it would be 9 pages per signature, but it's going to be mixed up, so not necessarily. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, but you can just pull this and do this, or you can copy what I'm doing. You don't necessarily have to do exactly what I'm doing. It's your project. And then, so what I've done so far is pulled all those pages, so I have a stack behind me of all the pages, which includes Cara Brandon's kit. And I have picked out a selection of material that's very spring and Eastery to me. I think this may have either come from Walmart or Dollar Tree, and the same with this one here. I'm going to use this one to make a couple of pockets, I think. I might just only make one pocket, to be honest, so we'll see. And then I have this beautiful, cute polka dot, pink and white, well, white polka dot on pink is what I should say. And that is from Tsunami Rose's fabric bundles that she sells on her Etsy. I have also cut down a chicken in a biscuit box. My son wanted to try these. I told him I loved them when I was a kid, so I thought he might like to try them. I cut this down to where it will make a smaller journal than I'm usually doing. And this will be actually the first time I'm making a little bit smaller one. I usually make things big. And I just love making big, huge, chunky journals. I want to make a little chunky journal. It's not super little. It is going to be 5¼ by almost 7¼ I was supposed to be 7¼ but I think I measured it incorrectly, so it's just shy of 7¼ and this one has almost, I think, a 2-inch spine. Where's my ruler? There it is. Here we go. So it is, oh, a little bit bigger. Almost 2¼ just shy of 2¼ and I've already cut it down. I ended up accidentally using the one that had the lip where it goes over, so a box will have an end lip that glues onto the other end so that it completes the box. And usually I use the end that doesn't have the glued on edge, and I forgot to pay attention, but it doesn't ruin it. I just took another piece and it doesn't even have to be the whole, but just to kind of make it even, I stuck another piece next to it. Can you see that? And just glued it down so that the spine is equal thickness for the most part across there, if that makes sense. So ultimately you want to choose the side that doesn't have this little glued on lip. So hopefully that made sense. I love the color of the inside of this box. I'm gonna be sad to cover it up. I do have a dog in here with me, so I'm sorry if you hear her. And then I also cut out some pieces of felt, and I use that kind of like batting. I do have batting, but I got this felt on clearance at a Christian bookstore, And so that's a place to kind of look out sometimes if you're there in their like kids supply area. And this isn't going to be all the way across, but that's okay. I'm actually going to be covering the spine with another element as well. So this polka dot is going to go on the inside of the journal. These felt pieces are going to go on the outside, and then this floral will be on the outside. And I'm thinking either this piece, which has got a long string attached to it. Get off me! Okay, I'm thinking this piece, which I actually used in my last journal. So I think I'm going to line the spine. It's not going to be this material, but I think I'm going to be lining the spine over this material with some lace over it, like this. And you don't have to do this part. This is extra. And it's either going to be this plaid, which she has plaid in her kit, or this cream. And I need to tear it down some more. And it's almost like a soft yellow. And on there. I haven't decided, so we will see when we get there. So for now, this is a scrap that I got from Tsunami Rose, because I like to buy her scrap bundles. And I'm just going to cut this down there. There's my fabric scissors. I'm going to cut this down there so I can see it better when I am getting ready to decide which one. I'm just going to cut that. And this is just like a leftover pillowcase or something, which had some lace on it, and I can use that lace. Just pull that off. I'm just going to cut that down there so I can use this maybe on this journal, maybe on another one. We shall see. So I could do this pretty peachy, no, it's not peachy, it's more yellowy with this. I might do that because then it brings me in another soft color. We shall see. We shall see. We'll get there when we get there. For now, what I'm going to work on, I think I'm going to use this ribbon, this pink ribbon, as my closure. And I think it'll be pretty. It's like a satin pink. I think I got it from Craftsmart. It's probably Michael's, I think, right? I think I'm right. But I think that'll be pretty. Oh, it's so pretty. And then I have white thread loaded into my machine because I was working on something else. I have ironed all these pieces, if I didn't mention. And I basically just took this and cut the material around. And these are both going to be too big. Everything's going to be a little too big, and we'll have to cut it down. So for now, I'm going to put these aside. I'm going to open a drawer so I can lay them across it so they don't get all wrinkled again. Okay. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to glue these down on here with some Fabri-Tac. And I'm staying away from the edges, really. I don't want to get the edges. Okay. So we got that piece, and this piece is more just so that most of the spine is kind of on a level thickness with the front and the back. I wasn't even going to include something here, but then I thought that when I do this part on the spine, it kind of might sink in a little bit, and I didn't want that. So I'm just putting a little piece that was left over. So this piece of felt was only 19 cents. Here I go again trying to glue on here. Well, I guess this is smaller, so you know, clearances, you want to look at those when you're out and about at other stores you might not think has things for junk journaling, but they have other arts and crafts things, sorry that was loud, and that we could possibly use in our junk journaling. I just always check their clearance section in like bookstores and stuff, because you'll find some stuff that you can use. Okay, so I have the felt attached to the front and the back and the spine of the cover. Looks like this. Very plain. And we need to cover it. Alright, so now I'm going to put this down here onto my fabric. So I got my fabric facing downward, it doesn't really matter, and I have my little journal here, and I'm going to cut around to where it's only leaving about 3/4 of an inch to a half, and I'm just going to get this trimmed up. Don't throw away your scrap material though, because we can definitely use it in other parts of the journal or on other projects. I use fabric scraps to also make cute little ruffles on the edge of pages. Okay, so we have this, and I think what I'll do is I don't want too much fabric tack on my material because it can show through. It can. So I'm thinking I might tack on these pink flowers behind those so that it's tacked down a little bit. So let's go over here. And I'm not going to do the ones close to the edge because I want to sew. Oh, I'm using the wrong glue. So I'm just gonna put a little dab of glue. Apparently I'm speaking in childhood cartoons. Dabadoo. Just going around some of these pink ones, and hopefully nothing will show too much. And rub it in. Let it make some contact. We'll look at the front. See how that is. Kind of just pull it a little bit while you're doing this. That way it stretches the material a little bit so it's not too loose. So there's that. It's cute material. I love it. Like I said, I don't know if I got it from Walmart. Could be. I'm just going to cut about 1/4 of an inch away from that corner cut these at an angle. Okay. And it's okay if things are flopping around. We're going to glue the edges down, and then we'll stitch around. So I'm going to stay away from the edges with the glue, even as I'm gluing these on. So I'm going to go ahead and glue on the fabric so I'm on the edge. I should have stuck my glue in there so it's still running for me. Okay, here we go. So just taking a thin bead, not a big glob. Okay, and I'm just going to pull that nice and tight. And it's not going to matter if it's not even, because we're going to have a lining on the inside covering that up, right? So there's that, and you don't want to make it too tight, just a little tight, because if it's too tight, then it'll start to warp your little journal. So then I'm going to work on this side, again on the edge. And everybody has their own way of doing this. Sometimes I swear I do it different every time. I don't know if anybody else is like that. It's like, how did I do this again? I'm just gonna go with the flow. It's usually what happens. Okay. I'm not worried about the thread so much, but I'll get that one cut. It's a little long. So I got the two sides. See? So now on these ends, I'm going to kind of tuck and then fold it over. So I'm taking this and I'm tucking it just a little bit and then folding this over that. Does that make sense? That way it's got a nice edge on that corner. So let's see, let's do that again with the glue ready. So I want glob. On the corner. Just gonna hold it there for a second. Sorry about the glare. Let me get back in the middle. Maybe that'll help. Okay. And then I'm gonna do that to this corner. Okay. Just put a dab of glue there. I'm gonna tuck and pull it up and hold it there for a minute. Okay. Lovely thing about fabric tack is it bonds pretty quickly. So then I'm gonna get this thing cleaned off too. Let me grab a piece of material, scrap, and clean that glue off. You don't want to get too much of this on your fingers. It is acetone based and it can destroy your nails. So I'm just doing a line away from the edge, but where the material will reach. Okay. Got a little puckering right there, but it won't be a big deal. Okay. So we got that side done, and then let's get this side done. Again, I'm going to put a glob there about 1/2 inch on each side away from that edge. Let's see, work with me. There. Get a nice corner there. Okay. Another glob there in the corner, but not too close. And tuck and fold up. Just like that. If we need to add any glue anywhere after we're done sewing, we can do that, but I don't think we will need to. Okay, we got that. Just gonna pull a little bit while I'm doing this, just so it's not too saggy anywhere. Okay, so we have, this is where you could stop with this cover. You don't have to go any further. You don't have to do any sewing if you don't want to, but I'm going to sew around the edge. Okay, so I will be right back. Hi, I am back. I went ahead and stitched the edge. It looks super cute with the white thread. I didn't bother to go all the way across the spine there because I'm going to be covering up the spine. So I just started right here and went around, and I went ahead and just kept going there, and then I stopped before the spine up the top. If you were just going to do just this, then I would keep going and just do the whole spine. And it would be super cute. I did have this pink tulle that I got out. I think I'm going to cut it in half. And I'm going to get it to where it's like sticking out at the bottom, but I'm going to kind of like ruffle it and glue it so it looks like some ruffly tulle is sticking out. You don't have to do this part. This is just me playing. So I'm gonna take a good size piece there. And this is just tulle from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to fold this up a few times so it's easier to cut in half like this. And I'm just going to use Fabri-Tac, and I'm just going to like bunch it up like it's a ruffle almost sticking out. I'm just gonna put a bead of glue down. You could use hot glue if you wanted. It's probably easier to use hot glue, honestly. But I'm going to use just Fabri-Tac. And I don't care if it layers up a little bit, because it'll just make it a little thicker when it's layered. And I can trim it if it's a little too long in some spots too. Okay, just gonna cut a piece off. And how I hold this down is I use a rubber band, and then I store it this way instead of on the big spools that they come on. And then that works just perfectly for me. So let me, excuse my dog making noise. Okay. Like this. And a little bit more here. Cut that off of there. All right. So this is what it looks like when you do that. And I'll trim it up a little bit, but I kind of want it a little wonky too, so I can trim that a little bit there, and this a little here. There. So that's cute. So that's like that. And then we need closure. We need closure. We need a closure. Oh, that was funny. Sorry. And I think I'm going to go ahead and just glue it in. I might stitch it a couple times along the stitch line there, but I'll probably keep it pretty long. Oh, let's do it this way. Okay, so I'm going to kind of guess where the middle is. Okay, upside down. I'm going to put my ribbon upside down and just glue it there around the middle. Let's see, is that about the middle? I think so. Okay, I think I will stitch it on the edge there, but I'm going to leave myself a fair amount of ribbon because I don't know how much I want. Then I'll just take another piece the same length. I just kind of guess, and if whatever I cut off on my ribbon, I can always use as a scrap of some sort or on an embellishment. So I'll let you know how much I used. That's 14. I used 28 inches. Okay, for each one. And then again, I'm going to put it upside down. Kind of guess where the middle is. Let's see. Okay. And then I can close it too and kind of see how well they're lining up. Need to move it just a little bit. Okay, so that's where they're at, like that. I'm going to go ahead, like I said, and stitch that on. I'll be right back. Okay, so it's all stitched in there, and I just followed the line that I did from the last time. I'm going to trim these strings. I would suggest maybe sewing in your ribbon before you do your tulle, because that was a little fun trying to get the tulle underneath the sewing machine. I mean, it worked. It wasn't a big problem or anything. It just, yeah, I suggest you maybe do it before. And some of you were probably yelling at me, do the ribbon first. Okay, so this is what we have. And do I want this side to be the front or this side? I think I want this side. Okay, I need to cut some more string. Oh, it's looking so cute already, isn't it? Oh my gosh, it's adorable. I love the little tulle coming out. Now what I want to do is take this, and I'm thinking I might iron on some. So I think I'm going to actually tear these edges and have that look on the inside. Let's see if I can tear it. Yes! It likes me. Today, anyway. Fray comes off the edge. Ooh, I like that. I like the fray coming off the edge. Okay. Oh, I got 2 torn edges already. What's that looking like? Let me do it this way. That's a torn edge. Oh, cooperating. The tool kind of wants to stick to everything, I'm not gonna lie. But it's gonna be worth it. Okay. Threads everywhere. Are you a pick your threads up off the floor person, or are you a throw it on the floor and pick it up later? I can tell you what I am. I'm a throw it on the floor and pick it up later. Okay, but I want it to go this way, not that way. I might straighten out. Well, no, I think it's okay. I'm just gonna kind of stretch it a little bit. Sometimes these older materials need a little stretching, coaxing, just a little coaxing. I feel like I maybe want to trim this side just a little bit. Hopefully it'll do it. Yes. Yay. Okay. So is this my front? No. Yes? No? Where's my front? I don't know which side. I don't think it really matters. I'm gonna go for that side. That's my front. Okay. And then I have this little line in the ink of my print, but I'm going to be putting, I also wanted to put a pocket here. How do I want to do this? Let's see. Here's my pocket material. I think what I'll do is I'm going to cut a piece of cardstock to the size I want my pocket, and then I'm going to sew the pocket to this pink material, if that makes any sense. So what I'll do is I'll set this aside for the moment, and I'll look at the actual cover. And actually, I'll get a piece of cardstock. Let's see. Just need a piece of, oh, this will work. This is a piece of cardstock that came with some packaging, and I'll just use that. That'll work fine. So I'm going to get a pen. I thought I had a pen. Here's a pencil. And make this pocket. I'm just going to go inside from the cover a little bit and inside from the spine. Just mark that. And I want it to be about the size of this, so I'm just gonna do that. So it's about 3 1/4. It's a little shy of 3 1/4 by 3 1/2. Excuse my dog. Okay. Great use of packaging we don't need, but we will use. So I have that, and I think I'm just gonna glue this down on here, and then I'm gonna cut out around it. And I have more there if I want to make another pocket. I'm going to do it a little ways away from the edge again, because I want to stitch around it. Hopefully that won't. I'm just going to rub my finger so it's not super thick. And stick it down on the back of the material. And I definitely want to put like some lace, so maybe I'll use this lace and put a little pocket there from that. That's cute. I like it. So I'm going to cut out around. These ribbons are long. Around that, like so. Whoops, apparently I can't cut today because I gotta throw it down. One thing I'm always glad I did was invest in some good fabric scissors, singers, because they're nice to have. There. It's a cute little bee and butterfly fabric. Throw those away. I'm going to stitch around this. Actually, I'm going to stitch the lace on there, and then I'm going to stitch it on the inside cover. So I'm just pulling off some loose threads, and let me just stitch the top. I'll be right back. And just trimming this up a little bit. Okay, so I marked it with a pencil where I want it to be, and I'm going to stitch it on there on my sewing machine. I'll be right back. I also think I'll probably go ahead and go around the whole perimeter with my sewing machine. Okay, wait a second. Okay, so I have the edge sewn. It kind of did give me a little more fits because I didn't have it on Tyvek adhered to paper, but it's okay. It worked fine, and I still think it's going to be cute. And I've trimmed off most of my thread. I attached this pocket, so it's a nice pocket there. And I'm going to start gluing this in to here. And hopefully that won't show through when I glue it. That's another thing, is the Tyvek would have kept the glue from showing through. Let me test it in the corner. Don't really notice it. I think we'll be okay. And I got that all adhered in there, and it's not perfect. It's still drying a bit. But I think what I'm going to do is go down this edge, and it's okay if it'll skip stitches or anything because of the glue, because I can cover it up, but I kind of want it to be a little more adhered in the center there to give it some stability and strength. So I'll probably go along the spine, both sides, to get it to stay in there. Okay, so I'll be right back, and I'll stitch here and here on both sides. Okay, so I stitched on both sides of the spine, and it still will buckle a little bit because it's material, and you won't notice it that much because it'll be all decorated, so it'll be okay. So we have the base of our cover, and I think it's cute. Oops. Just cutting all the threads off, and I'm not real worried about the spine. Like I said, I will cover the spine, so I'm going to sew in my signatures and then I'll cover the spine because I kind of want that look, and then I'll figure out something from Cara's kit, I'm sure, to put on the front. But that is the cover. So we have our pocket here, and we have this here, just as plain. I think I might be doing something else to the back, that's why I didn't put a pocket. And then we have the fringy stuff coming out of the journal, and that'll look really cute with. Okay, so I think it's all done, and I have sewn on along both sides there, and I think it turned out really cute. I have way too much ribbon here, but I'm going to leave it alone for now. And then we can also just set this aside, and when we're done doing our signatures and setting up our signatures, we can put them and get them sewn into this cover. Thanks so much for watching, and God bless. See you next time for part 2. Bye-bye.